A quick recap of the Tour as we come out of the first rest day. Tejay van Garderen currently is in the yellow jersey with a 54-second lead over second-place Chris Froome. Mark Cavendish leads Peter Sagan in the green jersey competition. Tejay van Garderen also holds the white jersey as the best young rider, and the leader in the King of the Mountains points is currently Romain Bardet. The team comes out of the rest day with the yellow jersey, though the main focus today is on Mark Cavendish. Stage 10 looks like it will be another sprinter's paradise with an almost perfectly flat profile, though the possibility of wind could impact the GC race. The sprinters teams worked with us today to keep the break in check, and the potential crosswind madness never materialized. Cavendish continued his sprint dominance, winning in front of John Degenkolb. This was his fifth stage victory in the 2013 edition of the Tour de France, and that equaled Bernard Hinault's 28 stage victories overall to become second most all-time, behind the great Eddy Merckx. Stage 11 is an individual time trial on a long, mostly flat course. TJ should be in with a chance to gain time over most of the GC competitors, though he may not be able to match Tony Martin, Fabian Cancellara, or Bradley Wiggins for the stage victory. The team will use riders like Taylor Phinney, Edvald Boasson-Hagen, and Geraint Thomas to scope out the course and prepare TJ for a successful stage. The stage leader changed hands multiple times early on, and no rider set an early time that would likely hold up the rest of the day. Taylor Phinney, though, did take a commanding lead after his ride, and his time checks would be used to guide TJ on his effort throughout the day. Mark Renshaw and Mark Cavendish also both rode fairly well, placing themselves inside the top 10 when they had finished their ride. Fabian Cancellara set the next best time out in the course, over 16 seconds of Taylor Phinney. Tony Martin, the World Time Trial Championship, flew past both two men in front of him to take the over the lead from Cancellara. Geraint Thomas came right behind him in second position, and then TJ went through the time check in 12th, losing a little time to both Chris Froome and Bradley Wiggins through the first third of the course, but being ahead of all the other GC contenders. He then went through the second check in 5th place, again losing time to Wiggins and Froome, but this time only 1 second behind Chris Froome, keeping himself well positioned for the GC. TJ had paced himself well, however, as he came across in second place behind Tony Martin, gaining time on all of his rivals. TJ leads in yellow, grew to 1 minute and 31 seconds over Chris Froome. The team also moved up into the lead of the overall team classification of the day, meaning that of the 5 competitions, only the King of the Mountains classification was not held by the team. Stage 12 looked to be another guaranteed sprint finish with no major obstacles to speak of on the course. The team seeked to control the stage with the other sprinters' teams and get Cavendish yet another victory. A 6-man break containing world champion Philippe Gilbert and the King of the Mountains leader Romain Bardet established themselves early in the stage, with the sprinters' teams keeping them gap in check. The break was caught within the last 15 kilometers, and Cavendish again won in the sprint, earning him a 6th-stage victory and cementing a near-insurmountable lead in the green jersey competition. Another sprint finish is expected on stage 13 with another near-flat stage. The break this time stayed clear until inside the last 10 kilometers when their heart was crushed when the peloton overtook them. The team sprint train again was dominant with 4 riders inside the top 5 in the stage. Cavendish won his 7th stage of this year's Tour, which is one behind the record for most victories in a single edition of the Tour de France. Stage 14 looked to be an interesting stage with a bumpy profile that would likely lead to the spinners being dropped from the peloton, but was not hard enough to make it a GC day, so a victory from the break was most likely. An early break formed with 9 riders, and the team did sit on the front to try to keep the gap reasonable. The break was allowed to gain roughly 5 minutes on the field, and they did fight over the stage victory amongst themselves. Sylvain Chavanel broke away from the rest of the group to take the victory, with Thomas Voeckler leading the peloton over the line about 6.5 minutes behind. Stage 15 finishes with the ascension of the Mont Ventoux and should shuffle the GC positions. The stage is a massive 241 kilometers that is mostly flat, but is finished with the climb of the Mont Ventoux. The team will seek to conserve their strength until the climb and will be willing to let a breakaway ride up the road unless it contains a dangerous rider. The rest day that follows will allow all riders to leave everything out on the road. As this stage is on Bastille Day, it is likely that many French riders will want to win the day, leading to many attacks. 7 riders established an early breakaway that got a lead of over 9 minutes. The break was continuing to gain time, and once the break gained a 15-minute lead, Team Movistar sent some riders forward to limit their losses. Our team had decided to sit up as the best-placed rider in the break was over 19 minutes back of TJ. When the teams and the peloton reached the base of the climb, Alberto Contador attacked immediately, followed by many of the other favorites, including Chris Froome. TJ, however, did not follow the attack and decided to set his own pace and keep it steady to try and ride back to them. He struggled to match their acceleration, and they did gain significant time, but he kept his rhythm strong, and over the remainder of the climb was able to overhaul much of his competitors, but he could not get back to Chris Froome and Alberto Contador. Thiago Machado won the stage ahead of Contador in second, and TJ conceded time to both, and the yellow jersey passed to Chris Froome. Contador moved up into second overall, with TJ a minute and a half back in third. The team now needs to evaluate the remaining stages and find where TJ can best win time back on his rivals to regain yellow. More than likely, this will be the time trial that will be needed to make major gains on Contador and Froome, as the mountains could prove to be a difficult time. Overall, TJ is well positioned to take the yellow jersey and wear it into Paris, despite the setbacks at the end of the week.